Welcome everyone to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards. It is me, Uncle E. That is my partner, the journalist Sincere. Today we are highlighting what we like to consider one of the most important hip hop magazine of its time, the Source magazine. On this episode, we are highlighting the 1994 edition, which celebrates its 30th year today. What do you got, Sincere, man? I know you got that nice, crispy magazine in front of you. Who do we have on the cover of that 1994 issue?
No doubt. Before we jump into the February 1994 issue, I want to acknowledge the January issue. Some may be wondering why we didn't review that one. It was just basically a review of the year 1993. There was no hip hop quotables, no album reviews, so we bypassed that one. So this month we are jumping into the February 1994 edition. And who do we have on the cover? No other than Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, nice, nice. And before we get too far deep into the magazine, man, can you from your opinion or your point of view, what do you think made the Source magazine such an important hip hop magazine of its time?
Previous to the Source magazine, we had like Yo. Actually not Yo. Yo came out about 1990. We had Word Up. We had Rap Masters. We just had magazines that I felt like didn't cover hip hop at the moment. They seemed like they were kind of lagging behind or didn't go into in-depth features, interviews, and we really didn't know what was coming up next. So with the Source magazine, I felt like they were ahead of the game with release dates, who was the next up and coming artist to be on the lookout for, the reviews. It just kept you coming back month after month, and you always wanted to see, like I said, the hip hop quotable. You wanted to see what your favorite album received as far as mics, and the unsigned hype was always important to take a look at and be on the lookout for some of those up and coming artists who eventually became some of the biggest artists in the game today.
Right. So basically, they were pretty much the magazine to go to that had everything kind of well covered as far as the culture, because they would have sometimes they had segments right covering graffiti, the dance. They pretty much covered everything. Where some of the other ones, not to take anything away from them, but I feel like they would come up short sometimes. Somewhere a little bit more, kind of more like that pop
Oh
type
yeah,
of culture. You know what I mean?
kind of bubblegum.
Kind of, yeah. So I think that's, for me personally, that was one of the big things that I liked about the Source, was that they covered everything, not just the music. But the other big thing, like you said, was looking forward to seeing like who was on that cover. You always kind of wanted to see if it was one of your favorite artists that made the cover. And of course the hip hop quotables. But yeah, man. So once again, to everybody checking us out, we do this every month. You can go to our YouTube channel and check out our previous ones from last year, and sit back and take a little trip down memory lane with us.
Yes, sir. Next up, we have the Source system, which included Best Buys, heavy rotation, and the singles file. Let's jump right into the Best Buys. So for the month of February 1994, Best Buys were Snoop Doggy Dogg's Doggy Style. That's a no-brainer. Queen Latifah's Black Rain. MC Ren's Shock of the Hour. Ice Cube's Lethal Injection. And Yak Fu Front's Action Packed Adventures.
Not bad, not bad. Shout out to Yagu Front, who we had the pleasure of having on our show. Make sure you go and check that out. Queen Latifah, Black Rain, that was her debut on Motown, right?
Yes, I believe so, because after she was on Tommy Boy.
Yeah, I believe that was her debut there, Motown, which eventually she ends up doing the singing, right? Like she had that album where she
Yeah,
was singing.
I think this might be her big commercial breakthrough, to be honest.
Right. Okay. Pretty good. Some pretty good ones on here. That's Doggy Dogg, obviously,
Oh yeah,
Doggy Style.
yeah.
Which a lot of people I've been hearing say that is more of a classic than Dr. Dre's The Chronic. What do you think?
That's a good one, but nothing really compares to the Chronic. That just,
Mhm.
I think that album came out and people wasn't prepared for what, came with that. I mean, they had an indication. We had what G Thing, Dre Day, but that album from front to back was non-skippable. But you were pretty much already knew what to expect with Snoop. When he came out, like you knew it was gonna be, a classic. But
Right,
I'm going with the Chronic on that.
right. Okay. So let's see what else is next. We have the heavy rotation. So these were joints that were getting a lot of rotation on the radio stations and all over the place. To start off, we had Spice One, 187. He wrote that was off of Jive. Black Moon, Enter the Stage, De
Ooh,
La Soul.
ooh,
Yeah, man. There's some heavy hitters here. Tommy Boy. What else? Domino, of course, Domino. Das Effects, Straight Up Suicide. What else? We had Too Short, Get In Where You Fit In. Del the Funky Homo Sapien, No Need for Alarm. The Alcoholics, 21 and Over. The
mm-hmm.
Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders.
Crazy.
And Wu-Tang, Into the 36 Chambers.
Yes, sir. I mean, you can't go wrong. Maybe that Domino was a little bit of a head scratcher because the only song people remember was the Ghetto Jam. Maybe
Yeah,
do more, but at the time, they considered it in heavy rotation. So, we got to go back to 1993, 1994 for that.
yeah. I mean, man, I'm gonna have to say hands down for me. Oh man, I gotta go with Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, and Black Moon.
Yeah, for me,
I mean, De La Souls was dope, but I mean, as far as heavy rotation for me at the time,
right.
those three.
If I can pick four, I'm going to go with Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, Black Moon, and the Alcoholics.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there are a lot of dope ones, man. But then you have it, man. That's the source system. We also have the singles file. That was
Yes, sir.
another segment that the source was always known for, letting people know what was happening, what type of singles and stuff was, that you should be looking out for. Let's see. They had stuff on here like the Alcoholics, Only When I'm Drunk.
J. Rue the Damager, Come Clean.
Souls of Mischief, 93 Till.
How Many MCs, Black Moon.
Sound of the Police by KRS-One.
Cream, Wu-Tang Clan.
On the Road Again, Jungle Brothers.
Sound of the Police, KRS-One. Did you already say that?
Yeah. KRS-One, Sound of the Police. Yep.
Ego Trip and De La Soul.
Ego Tripping, De La Soul, and Written on Your Kitten by Naughty by Nature. That's the remix, actually.
Catch a Bad One by Dell.
Do you remember Car Hoopers, the remix by Positive K?
Car Hoppers.
Hoppers, sorry.
If I heard it, yes, but right now, no, it doesn't. As far as
I don't remember that one.
but they were always in advance of singles, like so they threw that remix out there, and probably only people that had it at the time were the DJs. So
Right.
if you really go out there and try to dig for it, a lot of times it was like a B-side. So yeah,
If
shout out to the source.
you had to pick one of these singles as your favorite, which one would you go with?
Can't do it, but if I
Come
must,
on, man. Just pick one. You got to pick one.
all right, I'm gonna go with Cream, Wu-Tang Clan.
Cream, Wu-Tang Clan. All right. I'm going to have to say, I mean, that one's high on my list, but I'll go with How Many MCs by Black Moon.
Can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, that was I used to play that a lot.
No doubt.
There you have it. Let's see what's up next. All right, that was cool. Let's see what's up next in the Source magazine. We have the Hip Hop Quotable and the Fat Tape. Personally, one of my favorite segments was the Hip Hop Quotable. I always enjoyed seeing who made it, see who had the dopest lines of the time. And in this edition, 1994 February, it was none other than Corrupt. And that was off the song For All My Ig and All My Bees, off of Snoop Dogg's album, Doggy Style. What do you think, Sincere, man? Quotable, worthy?
Absolutely. Corrupt was a beast back in the day. I think the line that captured everybody's attention was Who's joking? Rakim never jokes, so why should I low? Now that's my idol. Check the vital rhyme blow though. Running them like Flojo, stranded on death row.
Nice.
So yeah, I think Corrupt was very worthy of this hip hop quotable.
Dope, dope, dope. Yeah, yeah, of course. Corrupt was a beast, man. He's always, I don't think he ever disappointed in my opinion, but shout out to Corrupt, shout out to Snoop Dogg once again, making the hip hop quotable. And then also in this segment, we have the fat tape, which were songs or, things that you kind of needed to be on the lookout for that you might have not heard at the time. And on this edition, there was stuff like KRS-One, hip hop versus rap.
Yeah, that was like a B side. I remember having to go out. I think it was on the B side of Sound of the Police. Don't quote me, but you had to go out. They made you go out and buy singles,
Yeah,
get that extra song. So it was
right,
very
right.
smart marketing. But if you wanted that song, you had to go out and not only purchase. You already bought the whole cassette, but they would put a bonus song on the B side of another single. So they were getting 2-for-1s back in the day.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was pretty dope. And like you said, smart marketing. One on here that I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember is Lovely How I Let My Mind Flow. That's De La Soul featuring Bismarck. I have to go back and check that one out. Yeah, so before we continue, I want to give a quick shout out to DJ Webb or X-Ray the Mindbender. There's a song on here, Doom, Dume, that's by Dark Mind Inc. And I ended up reaching out to him because I wanted to get it, who exactly were the members of. There was a group called the Legion of Doom, if you remember, and the members were Scott Free, who I believe became the A&R for Loud,
Yep.
responsible for signing a lot of important groups. Wu-Tang, one of them. There was also another one by the name of B Wise, who also went on to do a lot of things with Public Enemy and Professor Griff. And then this one was pretty cool because I forgot about it, but there was also another guy named MC Prime. And I had to reach out. So MC Prime, a little fun fact, was actually one of the first members of KMD. It was Doom, Prime, Sub Rock was the DJ, and then you had Rodan. So they were actually the original KMD members.
Wow.
Yeah. So he did, he was part of that whole thing. And and MC Kev Rock. Can't forget MC Kev Rock.
No
And
doubt.
then X-Ray the Mindbender. So they were the Legion of Doom. And then, of course, Kev Rock and X-Ray the Mindbender went on to create Dark Mind, which you can see the album right behind me. I just happened to put it up yesterday. So it's a funny thing that they're in this edition. But salute to DJ Webb, X-Ray the Mindbender. We also had him on Changing the Hip Hop Guards. Be sure to check that interview out.
For sure.
Let's see what else. What else did we have on there? On the Road, Jungle Brothers. There's a couple of things that sound like they were pretty dope.
And
A
of
lot
course,
of
Nas wasn't out yet, so it ain't hard to tell. That was bubbling at the time.
right. And then you had I Get Around remix by Tupac. Leader of the New School once again on here, Spontaneous remix.
Electric Relaxation, A Tribe Called Quest.
G's and Hustlers, Snoop Doggy Dogg.
I'm not sure about this Positive K and Beavis and Butthead, but that must have been when Beavis and Butthead was hot on MTV. So I don't remember that song with Positive K.
Nah, not at all. But that's what's cool, man, is like doing these episodes because there's some things that either completely you forget about or, like even like that, like seeing something that we're familiar with, like Dark Mind. But it also gives you a chance to go back and look some of this stuff up. There might be some hidden gems that you could add to your playlist.
For sure.
All right, let's see what's up next.
All right, what we have coming up next, we have JD from the Lynch Mob, who is acknowledged in this issue. 196 days. That is the number of days that JD has been in prison with no bail awaiting trial for murder. That time he was still in prison, but we were lucky enough to have JD on in the year 2023. So be sure to go back and check out that interview where he touches on his murder trial and everything he's been through over the years. Big shout out to JD and the Lynch Mob.
Yes, sir. Very instrumental. One of the main MCs actually on the Lynch Mob. But shout out to everybody else, Ice Cube and the whole Lynch Mob.
No doubt. Let's see what we have next. King Sun versus Ice Cube. Now, this is an interesting story. For those who know, I used to manage King Sun a few years ago. So, what I gather about this time is that King Sun let Ice Cube listen to some unreleased music in which supposedly Ice Cube jacked that demo and used pieces for his song Wicked, the reggae chanting part. So, King Sun definitely had issue with Ice Cube and confronted him, but I'll let E talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. I just want to, because it was pretty interesting as I read this article, and I just want to highlight that, I guess according to King's son, he was looking for, Cube to kind of help him out, was reigniting his career, and he felt that the least that Cube could do, being that King's son helped the lynch mob. And what happened, I'm going to just try to read a little piece of it here. Um, Son, like I said, he claims that that was the least that Cube could do since King's son himself fought alongside the lynch mob when Above the Law and Posse rushed the group at the 1990 New Music Seminar. So apparently there was something going on between those two groups. King's son happened to be there, jumps in and helps out the lynch mob, with that whole thing. And what's pretty cool is that reading that article, shout out to Queen Muhammad Ali and Hakeem Khalik. They actually put out a documentary about Shorty, who was down with the lynch mob and very instrumental in helping Ice Cube. It's called Coming Up Short. You can find that on Prime Video. And you can also check out our interview with them where we talk and discuss about the whole process of them putting that interview together. But make sure to go and check out the documentary because they actually have footage of Shorty detailing that whole incident, how it went down, the fighting and the scuffle, everything that was going on, and how King's son just comes out of nowhere and just starts doing his thing. But it's a cool story, pretty dope documentary. Once again, it's called Coming Up Short. You can find it on Prime Video. Shout out to Queen Muhammad Ali and Hakeem Khalik.
No doubt.
Okay, next up in this issue of the Source magazine, we have another one of everybody's favorite, those five mics. Five mics were make it or break it for some artists, man. But let's see who was the first up on the mic ratings of the Source. And you have none other than Snoop Dogg.
Doggy
That's,
style.
of course, yep, Doggy Style, Death Row / Interscope, production by Dr. Dre. We just talked a little bit about it earlier in this episode, but man, I mean, a classic, of course, front to, beginning to end. Dope songs, dope beats, dope collaborations. What do you think? Worthy of the 4? Should it have gotten a 5, or did you find the 4 mics was actually accurate?
I think 4 mics was actually accurate. There was something a little bit missing, and to this day I can't really put my finger on what was missing. I guess because the anticipation was so high. Maybe he may have been overshadowed by Corrupt on the album, or maybe he used everybody on Death Row to kind of pad some of the songs where he should have took over the lead.
Okay, no, it's okay. I like hearing talk about albums that are labeled as classic albums, and kind of hearing a true opinion and perspective. Because sometimes I feel that people just automatically run with the fact that Snoop Dogg's first album's a classic, and nobody wants to like debate that. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
that. I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but you don't hear those that side too often.
No, I just felt like
You think that he could have carried that album a little bit better on his own?
right. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Death Row was a family at the time, and that Chronic album was a family affair to catapult everybody
Mm-hmm.
like it did Snoop. Hey, I'm gonna, showcase you on this album, and it's gonna propel you to do your own thing. And I think maybe that's what he was doing with the Dog Pound. He showcased them, and that was to launch them and Rage and Nate Dogg as well. So I understand the giving everybody ample mic time, but Snoop, and I just felt like we waited so long.
Mhm.
Felt like we should have got more of Snoop. Not to
Right,
say
right.
anything was, terrible about the album. I just felt like, he should have carried majority of that album. Maybe had a posse track or two, as
Mhm.
the albums of the '90s had, but overall, I'm not mad at the four mics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good point, though. I don't need, honestly, I don't think I looked at it from that perspective. But that's a good point. That's a good point. He could have maybe carried it a little bit more, being that everybody was anticipating because of the chronic. Maybe gave a couple of, little feature here and there to start to kind of warm everybody up. Yeah, that's good one, man. You kind of know your stuff there. Nah, good point. Good point. I agree with you on that. All right, let's see what else. What other mics did we have on here?
All right, let's see what we have next. Queen Latifah, Black Rain. What is that? 3.5?
3.5 mics. That was like we said earlier on Motown. 16 tracks. Do you remember Black Rain at all?
Very vaguely. I think Just Another Day was on that, right?
I believe Just Another Day. There was also the posse cut with Tretch, KRS, and Heavy D.
Right.
Um, there
Uh,
was a couple of songs. I'm not even going to lie. Like I remember
right.
everything on there.
Right.
I feel like there might have been a couple of tracks that I liked, but I don't know. I think she was kind of going a little bit different direction.
Right. Right. She, was head toward the mainstream. Nothing wrong with that. So,
I
yeah.
found it interesting that she was on Motown. Um,
Yeah, I think, I think the Tommy Boy thing was about ending toward that. 93 was De La Soul. 90. Yeah. So I think that was the end of Tommy Boy.
hmm,
So
right, right,
had to go
right.
somewhere. So Motown was it.
That's right. And then what else do we have on here? Ice Cube.
Lethal
Uh,
Injection.
yeah, 3.5 mics also.
Yeah, so to me, this was the beginning of the ending for Cube. So, we had America's Most Wanted classic, we had Kill It Will EP classic, we had Death Certificate super classic, we had Predator. And at that point in time, seemed like he was starting to take a little dip. So I think this was his swan song of an album, Lethal Injection. Started really getting into the synthesizer because you remember that sound of the '90s.
Yeah,
Everybody had
yeah, yeah.
synths, he used artists QD3, Sir Jinx, and a few others. But overall, it was a good effort. But if you come off of that Death Certificate, America's Most Wanted, you're expecting more from Cube, and I don't feel like at the time that I got it, it wasn't a bad album because Cube was one of my favorites.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I don't think it really, satisfied me being a Cube fan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Totally agree with you, man. And then what else we have on here? Domino, again with 3.5 mics. That was for song title, like his name, Domino.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
remember too much. I'm not going to front. Definitely Ghetto Jam was in heavy rotation, but enough to have a 3.5 mic album, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't remember anything off that album, but that and maybe another one. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Like I said, anybody out there watching, checking this out, man, go back, revisit some of this stuff. You never know. Maybe there was a couple of songs here and there that you guys liked. Also, there was something else on here called by various artists, Planet Rap, a sample of the world on Tommy Boy. Don't know what this was, to be honest with you. 1993.
we're just putting out anything before they went out of business.
Yeah. Let's see what it says though, real quick. 1993 is the year Long Beach / Compton, Atlanta, and Oakland. Uh, what did it say here? New York, New Jersey's the cradle of East Coast rap, rule of hip hop in terms of album sales, man, popularity, and MTV rotation. Yeah, this was some kind of compilation of don't know who.
Right.
We've got the high praised MC Solar was on here. Okay. This right there is Planet Rap, a 12-song compilation of hip hop from 12 different nations spanning 6 continents. Will be fun and definitely bugged listening for everyone who ever wondered just what rap in other languages sounds like. Yeah, I have no idea. Don't know what this was about. Didn't hear it. Didn't catch it. But they
Right.
got 2.5 mics.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else was on the mic score here.
Let's see what we have next. MC Ren's Shock of the Hour debut album on Ruthless. 3.5 mics. Do you remember this album at all?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, kind of took a different approach. I think he adopted more of a Muslim thinking. If you knew MC Ren, he was, the wild guy in NWA. So to see him kind of adopt a new mentality was definitely a shock of the hour at the time. So for those who remember, MC Ren has 3.5 mics. I would have to agree.
Agree with the 3.5. Do you
Yeah.
remember the album well? Like, were there cuts on there that stood out to you?
I wouldn't say anything that I would label as a classic. I remember being in college, and my boy was a huge MC Ren fan, so I had to laugh at him because MC Ren definitely took a different approach than what we were used to. So we were expecting the NWA Ren, and we got something totally different, not too far off from the Ren that we loved, but he was definitely you could tell he was changing his thought process and
Right. All right, let's see what's next. We have Wu-Tang Clan, of course, 36 Chambers, Loud, RCA.
Yes, sir.
4.5 mics.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, before we get into this a little bit, I wonder how did they do as far as like when we started the mics off, right? They first had Snoop Dogg was the first one up with 4 mics.
Right.
Wu-Tang Clan gets 4.5. Like, wouldn't you think they would be first? Like, I wonder how they used to.
I think they caught a lot of people off guard. Looking back, I think they would be like, man, we should have had them right behind Snoop. You know what I mean? Snoop was the biggest thing at the time. And I'm not saying that, people were paying for ads, but who knows what Death Row put up to make sure Snoop's review
Gotcha.
the first to be reviewed. He was bigger than Wu-Tang. So let's just
yeah, that's true. That's true. And he's coming off, coming off from Dr. Dre and yeah. They definitely had the bigger name at the time.
Yeah, for underground hip hop heads, we definitely were checking for Wu-Tang Clan, but I think they caught a lot of people off guard. And why they put them so deep in the magazine, they had Original Flavor rated before them. Maybe it was a late review, maybe it was a late addition to a magazine that was already had things in place. But I think, like I said, that album caught a lot of people off guard. They weren't expecting a 4.5, 5 mic album, but it was undeniable. So I just think the placement is a bit odd, but there's no telling on what deadlines that they had to reach and what was already in place when they put this review in there. Right, let's see what's up next.
Let's see what do we have here. The Sure Shot singles.
Man, remember when Nas hit the scene with It Ain't Hard to Tell?
It ain't hard to tell. Large Pro on the beat, the production.
Yes,
that was that. I mean, for an artist coming out, man, Nas really had things buzzing, huh?
Yes, sir.
Incredible.
What else do we have? DFC, Caps Get Peeled. They were down with MC Breed. Not sure if you remember that song. I believe they were from Flint, Michigan. Song got a little bit of rotation around this way. You remember that song, Bubbling at All in New York?
I personally don't remember the song. I probably would have to hear it. But yeah, no, I my bad.
No doubt.
Don't remember that one, but let's see. There was also MOP. How about some hardcore production?
Yeah, we like it raw.
Darrell D on the production. What was your thoughts when you first heard MOP?
Oh man, loved MOP. Still to this day, they make you want to fight, make you want to throw something, you know. So how about some hardcore? Was
Yeah.
definitely a great introduction to Lil Fame and Billy Dance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the fact that those two are still together, still doing it, shout out to them. And what about Run DMC? Can I get it, yo? Blend with Down with the King and
Man,
Piper.
yeah, this was the reemergence of Run DMC. They were pretty much kind of on the verge of obscurity, and Pete Rock had to bring them back. The problem I had with it is that they were kind of adopting the hardcore image. You know, the baldies.
Didn't like.
I'm sure Tretch wrote some of the lyrics. You could tell by
Yo,
there.
listen, I'm sorry.
This was it for you.
Sorry. Okay, Down with the King was dope. The song. Didn't like their image, didn't like their look, didn't like anything about it when it came to their look, um, the way they were. You know, if you watch the video, for all of those who caught the documentary, which was very dope, man. I love the Run DMC documentary that came out, the 3-part series. Really dope. But when they get to that part and they're showing the video, it's a little heartbreaking for me, man, because Run DMC, they came out as, they were trendsetters, right? Nobody was dressing the way they were really until they kind of came out with the Adidas and all of that. To then go see them with the boots and the pants tucked in and the ball head, the fatigue, like, and they're not even that, even the movement. Like if you watch the video, they even look like young
Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature and what was the other the kids' names? Oh man, what was the who?
The Youngsters?
The Youngsters. They look like the Youngsters old. Like
Right.
that's what they reminded me of. Like the Youngsters grown up was Run DMC.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm sorry, Run
So
DMC.
let me ask you, do you think they could have got away with the way they were in the year of 1993, 94? You know, because they came out with their original image, because we always talk about the year of hardcore, which is 93, 94. So they're not the only ones that's guilty. MC Light's guilty. I think LL Cool J is guilty. Remember,
A lot of them.
14 shots.
14 shots to your dome was horrible.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that were from the era of the LL Cool J's, Run DMC, Lights, all of that tried that I could say I liked or that it worked.
Right.
I can't think of any.
Right.
I can't think of any, man. MC Light, I mean,
Roughneck.
you know something? MC Light, I can't say that I liked it a lot or whatever, but out of everybody, maybe she would be the one that somewhat pulled it off. And the only reason was because she kind of had a voice that fit that anyway. But even her image, if you remember I think it was the Roughneck video, she has like the same hat with the like. It just, come on, man. Nah.
Down on the Run DMC comeback.
I mean, I was happy for them, like especially after that horrible. What was that?
Back from Hell.
Was that the one where they had Teddy Riley produced? Yeah. That was trash.
Well, then again, they were trying to adapt to that sound.
Trash.
Dancing, yeah.
Trash.
I agree.
What was that? Pause. Bad. Sorry. I mean, I know you're trying to reinvent.
Even they cringe at that time listening to DMC talk about it. He wasn't with it. So,
I mean, think about it. How dope would have been? You got that song, Down with the King, and you see them cats come out with their Adidas. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Because at the time, everybody was hardcore, and we're all. I mean, everybody. You had
they were, but
you had the emergence of Wu-Tang Clan. Nas was on the heels. You had the West Coast on their hardcore.
Yeah, but you know something? It's fine. Like all of that is cool, right? But Nas came out hardcore. looking like Nas. MOP was MOP. You know what I mean? Like,
They all kind of had a certain look. It had to be Timbos, fatigues. There was a look that
but
went.
that's fine. That's cool. But you gotta understand, somebody like Naughty by it's too recognizable, too much. You can't come out ball heads, the same type of attire, and then the same manner, the same dancing. Like Nas wasn't doing that. You know what I mean? MOP wasn't doing Naughty by Nature type movements and dance. Like, you can't, man. You just can't do
Looking
that.
back, you can't, but at the
At
time,
the time, it
sure,
wasn't. No, bro.
I'm sure
No.
they
At
could
the
go back and
time,
change.
at the time
They
was a
would.
no go. I mean, maybe there was people that liked it. I saw it, and especially
But
like the album cover and all three of them, no head, the ball head, and all of that.
were you even checking for Run DMC in 93, 94?
I was always with, dude. Hold on, man. It's funny because I just saw it. I didn't even know I had this. Hold on one second. I'll add this to this. I'm gonna tell you how much I was looking for them. Hold on. Like, yo, I'm such a fan of Run DMC, bro, that I was always looking and like, wait, like, oh man, they back, and yeah, man, that's why I talk so passionately about it. Like, how much it was like a disappointment. I wanted to show you this because I don't even know or remember why. Well, I know why. I got it because I was like, oh, maybe. Remember this joint?
No.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So I'm gonna add this. So talking about them making the comeback, you know what I mean? I was always looking for Run DMC to make a comeback to the point where like I just would get whatever I saw of Run DMC, you know what I mean, coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I forgot about that album.
I do, but I couldn't even tell you. I have this and I don't even know what's on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's on here. I don't even, you know what I mean? I got to pop
I
it in.
cringe when I look at certain album images and the
Crown
time,
Royal.
and that's one of them. That was after.
This was.
That was after Down with the King, right?
I think so. Man, hold on. We're gonna edit this. It's over. It had a song Queen's Day. I remember that one. Queen's Day that had Nas, Prodigy. It had Nas and Prodigy. I think that's the only one that. Damn, excuse me. I think that's the only one that. There's a joint on here featuring Everlast.
Yeah, that's just what year is that?
That's what I'm trying to find on here. Album producers: Run DMC, Jim Esther J. God damn, I can't even see, bro. Fuck. $2001?
Yeah.
2001. So this album right here, Crown Royal, came out in 2001.
That's like 7 years
I
after.
think this was after that, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Down with the King.
7 years after, yeah.
And I think this was the last one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think after this, Run DMC was done.
Yeah.
So anyway, man, we tackled on a lot about Run DMC. But Run DMC, just if Run or DMC, if you're watching this, because we're so passionate and love Run DMC, man, you guys meant so much to us. That's why we're talking so much about you.
Absolutely.
All right, but let's see what's next.
Let's see what we got next. Cube and Ren, NWA alumni. Shout out to Andre Leroy Davis, who always brings it home with the great characters that he always draws at the back end of the source. I imagine this is in reference to the fact that Ice Cube had just dropped Lethal Injection, MC Ren Shock of the Hour, and so he brings them both together at the last word.
Dope, dope. There you have it. February 1994 edition of The Source, man. This is us just taking you guys back to a good time and place, celebrating one of hip hop's most important publications, of the time. I think everything else that came out was always trying to compete, right, with the Source or match, be right there with them.
Yeah,
My personal opinion, I think Double XL was the one to come close. Um, in my opinion, sometimes if the Source kind of, sometimes they would put out an issue that was like, I would go and see, and Double XL would have the good, the
yeah.
issue for that month.
Hmm.
But yeah, so once again, changing of the hip hop guards. Make sure you check us out. We have some dope interviews. This is season 3. We started off strong, and this is our edition of recapping the Source magazine. This was 1994 February, celebrating 30 years. Make sure to check us out. Go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, leave us a comment. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Changing of the Hip Hop Guards. You can follow me. It's me, Uncle E, on Instagram. And my partner, follow him on Instagram as well, the journalist SINSEER. Don't forget to check him out on YouTube, the journalist SINSEER, and his history lessons. Some dope interviews there as well. Until the next time.
We'll see you then. Be on the lookout for March 1994 as we take a look back at 30 years of hip hop as we go back in time to the year 1994.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.